welcome to the program Keeping Life Real with Benson, the program that explores life skills for the young people and for those who are young at heart. The program brought to you by the YouTube channel Savvy Digital TV. Today, we explore a very important subject, examination tips. Yes, how to face and ace those grueling exams. That's what we're going to be looking at today. And I'm your host, Benson. Now, let's face it, the concept of exams can be really overwhelming for the majority of people. It arouses certain emotions, it evokes certain feelings, it creates this pressure on the mind. It causes a lot of people to feel overwhelmed with the feeling of there not being enough time to study, too much stuff to remember, and when you get into the exam wondering, will I make it, together with the possibility of failure and all the attendant consequences. But relax, take it easy, slow down, breathe, it's all right. That's why we're here today. We want to be able to see how best we can help each other to face those exams in a more calm way. Look, I'll lay the groundwork, I'll put it out there. I'll admit, not everybody's wired the same. We all study differently. But what we want to share today are tips that hopefully will help, well, most of the people, most of the time. Alright, so we're going to break it down into 3 portions, 3 segments. There's 20 tips on how to face and ace those grueling exams. The first portion deals with what to do way before exam time comes, how to handle and prepare yourself way before the exams. Alright, let's get started. Number 1, attend classes. Wherever possible, attend classes. There's something about attending classes that makes it easier for when exam time comes. When you're in a class, the greater portion of the time, well, it depends of course, the lecturer, the tutor, the teacher is the one who's doing most of the work. Yours is to listen, take down notes if necessary, yes, do whatever else is required or you're instructed to do, but attend those classes. There's a reward that comes with attending classes. Number 2, if you have access to peer groups or study groups or whatever they're called, get involved in them. Participate when you're in there. It helps to have the load lightened by other people taking part, other people contributing, other people helping out to solve the problems. So get involved, part there. And look, we'll go to the third one also that's very similar to that one. Participate. Yes, when you join that study group or that peer group, take part. Don't just sit and look pretty. Get involved. The great Chinese philosopher is reputed to have said, the great Confucius, he's reputed to have said, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. So do. Get involved, do something. When you've done it yourself, it's easier to recollect it. Number 4, take down notes. Yes, take down notes. You know the old saying, it says, better a short pencil than a long memory. It's always better to have something that you can always refer to later on, isn't it? And that leads us to point number 5. Refer to your notes from time to time. Revise them. Yes, what's the point of taking down notes if you're not going to be revising them? And God forbid that you should revise those notes for the first time the day before your examinations. That is a recipe for disaster, because you might not remember the context of what these notes are all about, and worse still, if your handwriting is rather undesirable, you may be wondering, what is written here? Or even, did I write that? So make sure that you revise your notes early enough. Alright, let's go to the second phase in preparing for your examinations. And this is the part where it's the countdown phase towards exams. The countdown week maybe, or the countdown 2 weeks, I don't know. But you now know that there are exams there. Let's go. Number 6, create a study timetable, a schedule based on how the exams will be written, when they will be written. If you know that you're starting with such a subject, followed by such and such a subject, followed by the other subject, then put a timetable that speaks to that. Make sure that you first study such subject, then such other subject, then such other subject. It makes it easier, doesn't it? All right, number 7, be disciplined to stick to your timetable. Yes, I know it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but have the discipline, the faithfulness, the diligence to stick to what you have said you would do. Even if it's a little at a time, better that little than procrastinating, putting it off, saying, I'll do it tomorrow, succumbing to laziness. It won't help you. Number 8, use reference material and practice sessions when there's still a bit of time. Work with friends, do group work, practice, use material. But as the days draw closer and you've got 2-3 days left, focus more on past exam papers. Focus more on just finding out what exactly they want and how they want you to respond to the questions in the examination itself. All right. And number 9, look after your, make sure that you've covered at least something from every subject matter. Very important. Cover, I don't know, a little if necessary. Even if you don't fully understand it, cover something, do something, so that by the time the exam comes and maybe that question pops up, you'll have something to say about it. All right. And number 10, yes, the one that I was about to say, and remember that there was a real number 9, look after yourself. Very important. Keep hydrated. Critical. You lose a lot of water, you lose a lot of fluids in your body, you need to replace it. Eat a proper meal, decent meal, well-balanced meal every day. Get some rest, get some decent rest, make sure that you're refreshed every single day. I mean, there is no point in spending 3-4 nights in a row without getting adequate sleep and then strolling into the exam room a total zombie. I mean, it defeats the whole purpose, doesn't it? So look after yourself. All right, now let's look at the final phase, which is the part where you're actually in the exam room now and you're facing the exam. What do you do? Well, let's start with number 11. The secret is to be composed. That's what it is. Be composed, relax, breathe in, breathe out, stay calm. After all, you are already in the exam room. There's no point in wasting precious brain cells and precious time and precious calories just thinking about fears that might not even materialize. You're here, make the most of it. Number 12, get a full view of the overall picture. Take a look at the paper, flip through the pages, read through every question, make sense of it. I know you're busy looking at your left and seeing the young man, and to your right the young lady, and golly, the guy on your left, he's in such a frenzy already writing down, and the young lady on the right is already raising a hand asking for graph paper. You didn't realize they needed it. That's all right. You relax, you do your own thing. There's nothing as beautiful as knowing the whole story. All right. Number 13, take note of the questions that you will be attempting. Very important. And when you do that, write down little notes. Where you remember them instantly, put them down. It makes a difference so that when you come to it eventually, you know what to write. You've already got points. You're streets ahead of the next person to you. And along the same lines, number 14, ideally in an examination where they allow you to choose certain questions and not others, you want to be able to select in advance the questions that you want to answer, the order in which you want to answer them, as well as the content with which you want to answer them. Note these things, put them down, so that you are ready by the time you are settled and you've breathed in and breathed out. And look, I'll tell you what, if things haven't changed too much, and of course it does depend on the various exams, normally now, they don't mind you starting with whichever question you're comfortable with, so long as it is clearly labeled. You write the section, you write the number, you write the letter if it is a sub-letter to it, and the Roman numeral if that's what it requires, so that it's easy to tell which question you're answering. If need be, even put down the question as well and underline it so that they know what you're dealing with. Nobody should penalize you for that under normal circumstances. You know what you're going to be dealing with. All right. Now let's go to number 15. Once you've decided on which questions to answer, how to answer them, move quickly, move with haste. But don't move too quickly. Don't move so quickly that you lose out on the essence of what you're doing. But don't be so slow as well that you dither and dawdle and end up running out of time. Which leads us to the next one. If you're not sure of something, number 17, if you're not sure of something, leave it out. Come back to it later. Revisit it when you're sober, when your mind is clear, when you're sure what you're dealing with, okay? So don't waste time on things you don't know. Hey, you don't know them. Maybe you'll remember later, but now you don't. Let's go to the next one, number 18. Always leave enough time at the end to be able to revise your notes. Very important. Leave a little bit of time, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know, at the end of the exam so that you can go back and say, did I write stuff that makes sense? Have I covered all that I need to cover? Have I been adequate in my response to the questions? And God forbid that you, in the exam time, picked a question and went off at a tangent with it, and then you discover with 5 minutes left that you've written the wrong thing. But if you have left enough time at the end, you might be able to salvage something and rewrite the question. All right, let's go to number 19, if my numbering is correct. Ensure you've completed the technical aspects of the examination. Very important. Make sure that you've completed the technical aspects. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about, is your name on the paper? Okay, fine. Some exams don't want you to put your actual name on there. They have a number. Have you put that number down? What about your question numbering as you answer them? Have you made sure that it's clear? What about your spacing? If they require you to skip a line or 2 lines or move to another page completely, have you done that? What about referencing? Are you doing it according to the way they want you to do it? All these things are very important, together with legibility. Some of us have handwritings that leave a lot to be desired. Try your best to make sure it's legible and not annoy the examiner. And finally, number 20, try to do your own work. Very, very important. Yes, while you're preparing for exams, you can work with others, but in the exam room itself, usually they want you to do your own work. I remember when in high school earlier, one of our invigilators used to make it very clear that he would not tolerate any copying. This is what he would say: I will not tolerate any copying from anyone here. You may look up for inspiration, down in desperation, but not sideways for information. Oh yes, he certainly made his point that we should not copy. And well, that's it really. If I must throw in another one to make it 20-20-20 for sure, the tip would be, do what works for you. Maybe the points I've given you don't apply, but I hope they've stimulated your thinking. Do what works for you. Well, that's it. Tips on how to study for exams and face them a little better. I hope it's helped some of you. I realize for some of you it's too late. You've already written, but maybe next time you write exams, this could be handy. Tell us what you think of it. Like the program, subscribe to it, ring the notification bell, keep in touch, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.